Hello everyone! Since it's the day after Christmas and I just found more of my horrible childhood writing, I decided to bless you guys with more of my horrible writing from another time. This time, rather than a fanfiction of the Magic School Bus, it's instead furries going on an epic adventure. Hooray! I never finished it, as I don't think I ever finished a project in my life, but at least we can enjoy the 4 chapters I did manage to write. Oh god. Alright, so I apologize for the background noise, because it is raining outside right now. So there might be a little bit of a pitter-patter, but here is the masterpiece. This is the book I wrote it in. I only used like this much of the book. But yeah, you can see I decorated it with some pretty good stickers. Alright. Oh god, what is that? Ooh, we have a prologue. The icy mouth of the waterfall was running. A great rain was falling. A great dragon the color of ice was standing his ground. His diamond-shaped eyes glittered in the darkness. He waiting patiently. Then, through a thick fog, an owl appeared. Okay. He was a great horned owl. His head was dark brown. His body was light brown, with a few gray feathers. He finally reached the top of the waterfall. "Barnabas, I was expecting you," said a great deep voice. "I brought it." The drugs? Barnabas released a small parcel from his talons. "I shall do the enchantments," said the deep voice. "Young me, you can just say it's the dragon talking. You don't have to say, 'the deep voice.'" He took a deep breath and breathed on the parcel. It turned to ice. The dragon flew away with the ice. Barnabas whispered, "A protection enchantment." "The time is near." Slam! Alright, chapter 1, or just 1, I guess. The Diamond Glade. Ooh, this one has an illustration. The great storm had just hit Hedgeland. Hedgeland? What? And the wind was high. On crack. A town called Draketown had a great warm light. Many clay caves lit with many candles. In one cave, 2 kids grew and played. But this town was not populated with people, nor were these kids human. They were furries! Well, they were animals. The caves were sealed off because of the rain. In the cave with the kids, there were 2 grown badgers living. The kids were also badgers, if you didn't get that. And the kids were children of the badgers. One badger child sat pushing a bear with wheels back and forth on the rug with a wide grin. The other was sitting on a stone stool with a badger doll, staring sadly out a small window. "Come on, stop staring out the window! You're wasting time," said the badger, who was still rolling that toy back and forth. The other replied with a deep grunt. He named Clover. Oh god. Left and went to his room. Then he saw something strange. For a second, when he opened the door to the hall, he saw a creature, but disappeared just as fast as it appeared. He went to the door of his room and saw 2 mice holding what looked like a book. I don't think those are mice. I think those are like really deformed hot dogs. And there's our badger friend. Oh my god, this is so bad. Then, soon as the mice saw they were being watched, they ran but dropped the book. Clover was curious and picked up the book. It looked as if it was buried for 100 years, then unburied, and each cover pulled the front. The front had no title, so he opened the book to see if it had a title page. He carefully opened the cover to a page covered with dust. He blew off and read the page. Diamond and jewels. Things are not always what they... Smudge. The page was all faded after that. He thought about this for a long time. He decided to read on and see if the mystery would be solved. It looked as if it had to be written by hand. It read, "Chatter 1! Diamond and Glade Mysteries," spelled with a Y-S. The Diamond Glade? Where was that? Then Clover remembered the geography book he was assigned to study. He usually pretended he was studying in his room with the book and instead played. He read the table of contents and flipped to the page with a map of Hedgeland. According to the map, the Diamond Glade wasn't even far from Draketown. He thought, and then he got a paper and wrote a plan. He then scheduled a time to leave. He was ready. for adventure. Is that a soccer ball? I tried. Also, where did he get a sword? This is like a 5-year-old child. I'm concerned for you, Clover. Alright, on to chapter 2. The plan in motion. It was still raining, but Clover was outside. Today was his leaving date. He told his mom to leave food in his room, and he had promised the mice his giant cheese if they ate his meals every day. Okay, I already have questions. How did your mom is just gonna leave food in your room and assume you're in there? Is that what you're trying to do? And also, why do you have a giant cheese? So Clover started to walk. He was going to follow the path out of town. If he ever found it, that is. The rain was so heavy and the sky was black with no stars to guide him. I can't read. He finally found the path, but it was pure mud. He found it easier to following the path while walking in the grass. He walked for a while through the town. He finally reached Whispering Forest. He was tired and a speleal hungry. He knew that he was a great digger and dug a hole in a spot with no grass. The hole was not as cozy as his home in his cave, and it was cold and dark. He regretted coming here now, and he forgot that he would have to make stops. He looked in the small packages of stuff he had brought. Clover pulled out his badger doll, toothbrush, candles with sticks, which he was thankful, the old book and geography book, and blanket. Then his face drained of color as he remembered the most important thing he needed. Food! You're dumb! Oh my god. He was doomed. Grumble. His stomach growled. The only way of surviving was going back. Never seeing his dream. Taking risks and going into the field to find food. He chose to go out, so he crawled his way out of the hole, and then he bounded off through the grass. Clover ate meat, so he listened to the grass, hoping to hear the scuffles of tiny feet, or at least find a bug. He didn't hear one stir among the grass. He was dripping wet and wanted to go back to his hole, but he did not give up. Clover kept looking, and he heard something. A sort of plop, like fruit falling from a tree. In fact, it was a fruit. I thought he just said he ate meat. Okay, whatever. He looked and saw a strange tree. He ran up with all the energy he had left. He's starving, dude. He saw some bugs and some fruit. So that's where the bugs were, he said to himself. There were no rain come through the leaves, so he dried off and sat down. He found the fruit was edible, but strange tasting. The fruit was red and yellow, like a mango, yet had seeds on the outside, like a strawberry. The fruit tasted like milk and tarts, which reminded Clover of home. His mom would knit tablecloths and make tarts and cookies. He and his brother would be so hungry and dig in. Then they would time for dessert. They'd be so happy. And went Mom would bring in the cake, and his dad would come out from hunting and bring rats and mice to make tarts in the morning. Oh god, that's interesting. His mom, dad, brother, their voice faded away. What if he never saw them again? He started crying uncontrollably. He dread the thought. He couldn't stop. He could stop. He was so sad. Then he heard a voice. Clover, said an echo. Voice. The voice faded. Good grammar. He saw the creature he had saw in his hall a day ago. This time he got a better look at it. It had the head and neck of a hedgehog, though its body was that of a lion and legs of a bear. Its back legs were those of a dog, and its tail of a dragon. Clover, its voice echoed again and ran through the grass and disappeared. Me. God, me. I think I'm gonna turn this into a two-parter, so I guess stay tuned for next time.